So hopefully you're enjoying just relaxing on your couch, maybe whatever you're doing. Today we're going to do lesson 19, which is substituting to evaluate addition and subtraction expressions. So I'm going to go over a couple. I'm not going to do the whole entire lesson with you, but I want to be able to help you while you're working on this from home. So it says, my older sister is exactly 2 years older than I am. So we share a birthday and both fun, but it's also annoying. So every year on our birthday, we have a party, which is fun, but she always brags that she's 2 years older than I am, which annoys me. So I want you to show our ages in the table, starting with when I was born. So this column is going to be when I'm born, and over here is going to be where my sister is versus how old I am. So if you look at the table, it says, what patterns do you see? So on this pattern is you're going to be able to look like every time I add 1 year, over here I add 1 year. And then I just keep going. So I keep adding a year, I keep adding a year, I keep adding a year, which obviously if I'm getting 1 year older, so is my sister. So there's nothing crazy, no time holes, no loops, no nothing. So if I can see that each row is +1. Okay, but the issue is when I'm 0 years, when I'm born, my sister's 2. When I'm 1, so my sister is going to be 3. So if I'm looking at from my age to my sister's age, I'm going to add 2. So every time you go from, let's just say this is the X, let's say this is the Y, you're going to add 2 years to figure out my sister's age. So on the day I turned 8 years old, how old was my sister? I am 8, so I'm going to add 2. So 8 plus 2, she would be 10 years old. Okay, but what about the day I turned 16? So the day I turned 16, if I'm 16 years old, I'm going to add 2 to her age. She's going to be 18 years old. So today we're looking at the additive structure. So if you look, the next question says, what is the additive structure from the table? You're going to be looking at this. How do I go from my age to her age? So if I do that, the additive structure would be +2, or you could say X plus 2 equals Y, because the X is me adding 2 years, and then the Y would be my sister. So now what would we have to do if we're working backwards? How old am I when my sister was 6 years old? So now we're working from here to here. We're working a little backwards. Now we're not going to add 2 years to my time. We're going to subtract 2 years from my time. So if she's 6 minus 2, I would be 4 years old. Okay, now when my sister's 15 years old, so now my sister's 15 years old, I'm 2 years younger. So if I take 15 years minus the 2 year difference, I would be 13 years old. So what I want to do is I want to be able to fill in this table to kind of understand. So I'm going to make it easy. Let's just go, I'm 5, 6, 7. So therefore, if I add 2, it would be 7, 8, 9. Kind of like the joke, 7, 8, 9. So it says calculate with a partner how old I was when my sister was 22. So these are my sister's age. So remember what we're doing. If I know my sister's age, am I adding 2 years or am I subtracting 2 years? So if my sister is 22, I'm going to subtract 2, so then that would be 20. So I would be 20 years old. If my sister's 23, I subtract 2, I get 21 years old. And then if I take 24 years, I'm 22 years old. So pretty easy. Remember, tables are all about patterns. So once you understand that tables are all about patterns, you kind of understand it in a nutshell. So I'm going to do one more with you. If you look, you're going to go through the rest of this packet. It's all about just filling in the age. understanding the pattern. Today we're really looking at the additive structure. So we're looking at adding. We're not looking at multiplying. We're not looking at dividing. Okay, we're going to look at that kind of a little bit tomorrow, but today let's just look at adding. So if I look, Noah and Carter are collecting box tops for their school. They each bring in 1 box top per day, starting on the first day of school. However, Carter had a head start because his aunt gave him 15 box tops before school even began. So Carter, if you look at this, Carter was given 15 box tops before school started, and Noah's grandma gave him 10 box tops. So they both added those to their first day of school. So if you look at their first day of school, okay, it looks like they have a lot of box tops, but really their aunt and their grandma gave them some. So remember, they each had 1 box top each day. Sorry, Mr. Memphis, having a hard time writing. Let's just erase that too. So if I look, 1 box top each day. So if Noah, the box tops has, so if I would do this, it would be on day 2, he brings in another. He would have 12. On day 3, he brings in another. He has 13. If he brings another one, on day 4, he has 14. And day 5, he has 15. Okay, and then the same thing. Carter brings 1 box top each day. So Carter's aunt gave him 15, so that's how he got 16, because I'm taking the 15 his aunt gave him, and then I'm adding the 1 that he gave him. Okay? So then on day 2, he would have 17. Day 3 is 18. Day 4 is 19. And day 5 is 20. So let's look at these questions. So it says, if we let D be the number of days since school began, on D day of school, how many box tops will Noah have brought? So we can kind of figure that out by this. Okay, by the things that I underlined, by the things we added to the table. So what would I do with D to be able to figure out how many box tops he got? So I'm going to do 2 different things. So over here, okay, let's do Noah. Sorry, I keep getting messages. Okay, over here, let's just do it for Carter. I know it doesn't say Carter, but I want to add Carter so you guys understand. Okay? So Noah's grandma gave him 10. So D plus 10 equals the number of box tops. Because if I plug in 1 for D, it would be 1 plus 10 equals 11. Okay, let's go on to Carter. So D, sorry, people, I'm popular today. Okay, so now if I look at Carter, so remember Carter's aunt gave him 1, so D is the number of days plus, how many box tops did Carter aunt? Oh, there it is. So Carter's aunt gave him 15, so D plus 15 equals the number of box tops. Okay, because if I look here, just like I did before, day 1, so day 1, Carter had 1, so 1 plus 15 would equal the 16 box tops that he got on day 1. Okay, so let's see here. So on day 10, these are really going to help me understand. I don't want to fill in a table all the way down my page. So those equations are going to really help me answer this question right here. On day 10 of school, I don't have day 10, I just went to day 5. How many box tops will Noah have brought to school? Okay, so if I remember my equation, so Noah is D plus 10 equals, well, we're not sure yet. But on day 10, I would substitute the 10 in for D, and I would get 10 plus 10. Whoops, I just gave you the answer. 10 plus 10 equals 20 box tops. So Noah has 20 box tops on day 10. Let's see about Carter. So Carter's equation was D plus 15 equals, we're really not sure yet. But I plug in the 10 for D. That's what you guys have to understand. 6th graders have a hard time plugging in a number for a letter. So now instead of D, I know it's 10 days. So 10 days on the 10th day plus the 15 he started out with would be 25 box tops. So that's how you kind of figure out an equation, expression, to be able to figure out what you're trying to do with a table. So what I want you to do is, if you look at here, I'm going to kind of just help you on this next one, and then you guys are on your own. Remember, you're going to finish the packet, take a screenshot of just your problem set and send it to me on Remind. If you're not on Remind, then I'm going to have you send it to me on my email. Okay, please do not post a bunch of stuff on the Teams page. It confuses me, it confuses people. So, look at this. Each week, the primary school recycles 200 pounds of paper. That's a lot of paper. Okay, the intermediate school also recycles the same amount, but they had another 300 pounds left over from summer school. The intermediate custodian added this extra 300 pounds to just the first week. Okay, super important to understand. So if I look at this, I want to find it for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and week 5. So the amount of paper recycled by the primary school, so they have 200 pounds per week. Now, they didn't have any from summer school, so on week 1, it would be 200. Okay, but if I look my intermediate school, remember they had a lot left over from summer school. So if they do the 200 per week plus the 300 from summer school, in week 1 they had 500. Okay, now you're not going to worry about the 300 every week. It was just for week 1, like we stated here. Okay, so see if you can figure out how to do the additive structure, or you could look at how to go just adding. If you know how much they add each week, okay, they have 200. Think about how you could just add repeatedly to figure out the total that they have. Okay, and then if you look, it says what is the trends if this continues. Okay, think about what we set up here. These equations will help, but you have to figure out the equation for this. Okay, you can do it. So if you look, you just have a couple more to figure out. If you go through, if you have any questions, remember, do your best, see how you can do it. Okay, don't get too confused, don't stress out too bad. And then if you look down here, this is where you will give me a screenshot, a picture, and submit it in Remind or Teams of the problem set. So enjoy doing math on your couch. I hope you guys are hanging out with the family, just enjoying a little bit of time off. Let me know if you have any questions. Remember, Remind, Outlook, don't post 1,000 questions on Teams. Enjoy this video. Enjoy this lesson. I will talk to you tomorrow. Mr. Mefford's out.